للذين أحسنوا الحسنى وزيادة ولا يرهق وجوههم قتر ولا ذلة
للذين أحسنوا الحسنى وزيادة ولا يرهق وجوههم قتر ولا ذلة.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear brothers and sisters, dear viewers, we welcome you in our series of errors and correction. This series of error and corrections is to clarify to some Muslim some errors that Muslims fall into. In this episode, we will continue clearing some errors that a Muslim can fall into. And one of the errors also a Muslim can fall into is actually sitting, between the sun and the shade. This is actually not recommended. Either you sit in the shade, not to sit sitting between shade and sun. This is actually, they call it, this is the place of shaitan. So the Muslim should actually stay in the sun or in the shade, not in between. Also, one of the major things that you ask a person to stand up so you take his place. And this is actually this is a very bad manner. A Muslim must stay away from this error. You should not ask a person to stand up to take his place, whether any place, even in a house, in an office, in a masjid. I mean, this is not actually a good manners from a Muslim to ask other people to stand up and take his place. Also, when you walk into a place and you found two people are talking, quietly, they are talking and they don't want other people to hear them. It is a very bad manner, actually, that you come and, enter or, come in between them. You should stay away, wait until they finish, until then you approach them. Don't go and stand in between them while they are whispering to each other or actually talking to each other. Usually they're not whispering, but usually they are talking, quietly. They don't want other people to hear them. When you walk into or you see this, you should not, approach them. You should just stay away from them until they finish. Also, one of the things that we Muslim not supposed, we should not initiate non-Muslim with salam, because you say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, assalamu alaikum. You should initiate this when you are meeting Muslim. But when you are, anytime you initiate, when you see non-Muslim, you don't say assalamu alaikum until and if they say assalam, then you repeat to them assalam. But we Muslim not supposed to initiate. This is also one of the major error some people fall into. And also one of the major error that some Muslim, they give salam only to the people they know. He gives salam to the people he know. But if he pass by people he doesn't know, he will not give. This is not right. This is a very major error. In Islam, you should give salam to your brothers Muslim, the one you know and the one you don't know. Also, kissing each other, in Islam that if somebody who's been traveling for a long time and you haven't seen him long time, then you go stand up and kiss him. But actually the sunnah, you hug him, and you shake hand with him. This is also one of the major, or people, even they kiss each other. I'm not saying this is haram, but the sunnah is either you hug him or shake hand with him. But kissing him, unless you haven't seen him for a long time and he's been traveling for a period of time, then you can stand up and kiss him. Also, when you want to give, anytime you want to excuse to enter a place or knock the door, don't exceed more than 3 times. If you are knocking the door to enter, okay, off only 3 times. If they allow you to enter, then you can enter. If they don't answer you, you can leave. But don't, in the sunnah actually, or one of the major error, people keep repeating when they want to excuse many times. but actually the sunnah should be only 3 times. Also, one of the major error people may fall into is looking to other houses. He may be sitting in the roof, and his house is a little bit high, and other Muslim, their house is not very high, is low, and then he just take the chance and he keep looking to other people's house. This is also a very major error. We're not supposed to do that. Also, one of the major error is backbiting. We Muslim should stay away from backbiting. You will find, unfortunately, many people sitting in a place. They may sit in that place for 2, 3, 4 hours, and they do nothing but, this man, and this woman, and this, and that. And what they do, just keep sitting, all of them criticizing other people, eating their meat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has warned us in Surah Al-Hujurat, يا أيها أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا يسخر قوم من قوم عسى أن يكونوا خيرا منهم ولا نساء من نساء عسى أن يكون خيرا منهم. Oh, you believe, you should not criticize or make fun of other people. They may be better than you. Even women, even women should not criticize or make fun of other. Maybe those women are better than them. And that's why we Muslims are not supposed to backbite or criticize or make fun of other people. Also, slandering, abusing other people. You're not supposed even cursing other people. It is not. It's not allowed. And this is actually, unfortunately, one of the major error Muslims fall into. And the correct thing, whatever happened between you and your brother, you should avoid abusing him, slandering him, give him bad names. No, because you are brothers. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Quran, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. Rasulullah said, Al-Muslim, Akhul Muslim. The Muslim is the brother of a Muslim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also said, as I mentioned before, Al-Mu'min Akhwa, the believers are brothers. So whatever happened between you and other brother, you should avoid slandering them, abusing them, and giving them bad names. Also, one of the people, sometime people when they are reciting the Quran in the masjid, he may recite the Quran loudly. And again, this is one of the major errors, because there are other brothers sitting in the masjid. Also, they want to read, they want to recite the Quran. And the Sunnah, you should not really, the right way, the correct way is not to recite the Quran loudly. Remember, this brother next to you, to your left or to your right, he also wants to recite the Quran. But if you raise your voice and you read the Quran loudly, you are actually burdening him, and you are distracting him from reading the Quran. So you should not raise your voice. Also, raising the voice, not Quran, not reading the Quran, talking, with other. You should really avoid raising your voice. Even when you are talking with other people in the masjid, this is also one of the major error many Muslims unfortunately fall into. When he walks into the masjid and he meet one of his brother, and he remember something, then he start chattering with him, talking to him, and he forget himself. There are people who are reading the Quran, people are performing Salat Sunnah, people making tasbih, people remembering Allah, and you just talking something, raising your voice. You should avoid raising your voice. And also, I want to seize the chance and also to remind the brother that anytime you walk into the masjid, you should really take your mobile, either you put it silent or put it off, because we are having now many problems in the masjid. People forgetting their mobile on, and unfortunately, some of the brothers have music, and sometimes while you're praying, while you're from Salah, you hear somebody singing or some musical instrument going on, sound of musical instrument. So I'm just taking the chance now to remind brothers and sisters that anytime you go to the masjid, remind yourself that to put the mobile off or silent. Also, too much laughing. one of the major also error that people they laugh too much, whether at home or whether at masjid. This is actually considered one of the errors. You should not laugh too much or loudly. Sound everybody can hear you. Also, some unfortunately people reached to the extent they may slander and curse the dead people. A man, maybe before he died, this person, he has a problem with this person, and after even he keep cursing him, he keep slandering him, even if he's dead. And this is a very bad mistake. This is actually one of the major errors. When somebody died, he's dead, you should remember his good things. Never slander and never insult a Muslim after his death. This is actually one of the major error people fall into. Also, you should not, if we are not supposed to slander and curse the shaitan, because if you say, if you are slandering or actually, cursing the shaitan will become, he will be big-headed. He will, he will try to show off. Don't give him the chance. Don't give him the chance, because the shaitan will become bigger and bigger and bigger when somebody is slandering him. Never make dua asking Allah to take your life or to ask death. But the best thing to do, oh Allah, if life is good for me, keep me alive, and if death is good for me, give me death. Don't make dua, take my life now, I want to die now. This is also one of the major error people fall into. Also, some of the people, when they make dua asking Allah to forgive him, he said, oh Allah, forgive me if you want. He said if you want. Never say if. Make sure, be certain in the dua. Have trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't say Allahumma ghfirli in shi't. Oh Allah, forgive me if you want. No, say Allahumma ghfirli. Oh Allah, forgive me. Don't say if between that. Also, don't ever, whatever happened between you and your wife, never, slander her. Never, hit her on the face, or spit on her, or kick her with your foot. Same, both of them. Unfortunately, because she is not, even the slave, the one you bought with your own money, you're not supposed to, give him a slap on her face, or actually hurt him, or burden him, or insult him, or slander him. So what about your wife, who is she your wife and also the mother of your children? This is a very bad manner. We should avoid it as husband between us. Brothers and sisters, we come to conclude this episode. We look forward to see you again, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.